After guarding her daughter, he found the queen insisting he remain. The rain fell in thick silver sheets over the alien city of Zira, as Lisa crouched behind a moss-covered stone wall, her breath shallow, her fingers tight around the grip of her plasma rifle. The air smelled of ozone and wet metal, a scent that had become as familiar as fear in the last 6 months since the human colony ship had crashed on this strange world. Lisa had been running, hiding, and fighting to keep her 6-year-old daughter, Emma, alive. Emma slept curled beneath a thermal blanket inside a hollowed-out storage pod nearby, her small face peaceful, despite the chaos that surrounded them. Lisa watched her for a long moment, then turned her eyes back to the dark tree line where the shadows moved with purpose, not wind. The Zirians were not like the humans. They were tall, slender beings with smooth opal-colored skin and eyes that glowed faintly like distant stars. They moved silently and spoke in soft musical tones that sounded like wind through crystal chimes, but Lisa knew better. Their kindness was a mask, their curiosity, a weapon they had taken other humans before, never violently but always with quiet insistence. And those humans never returned. Lisa had seen it happen. To 2 men from her ship, they had wandered too close to the outer edge of the city, drawn by the strange lights and soft music. One moment they were there, the next, they were gone, only a single feather-like token left behind on the damp ground. Lisa stayed hidden in the ruins on the city's edge, scavenging food from abandoned supply caches and using old human tech to mask their heat signatures. She taught Emma to stay quiet, to move like a shadow, to never answer if a Zirian called her name, but tonight something was different. The rain slowed to a mist, and the usual hum of the city grew louder, more rhythmic, almost like a chant. Lisa's instincts screamed at her to grab Emma and run, but her legs felt heavy as if the ground itself held her in place. Then she saw her queen Lyra emerge from the mist like a dream given form. She stood taller than the others, her skin shimmering with faint gold veins that pulsed in time with her slow, steady breaths. Her long silver hair floated, as if underwater, and her eyes held galaxies. Lisa had never seen such beauty and such power in one being. The queen stopped 10 paces away. She did not speak. She simply looked at Lisa, then passed her toward the sleeping pod where Emma lay. Lisa raised her rifle, her voice low and rough. "Stay back." Queen Lyra tilted her head slightly, then spoke in perfect English, her voice soft but clear. "We mean no harm. You took the others." Lisa said, her finger resting lightly on the trigger, offered them a choice. The queen replied, "They chose to stay. Why? Because they saw what we see." The queen stepped closer. "Your kind is dying. Your world is broken. You fight among yourselves. You poison your skies and seas. You forget how to listen to the stars." Lisa's jaw tightened. "That doesn't give you the right to take us." "We do not take," the queen said gently. "We invite, and those who understand accept." Lisa glanced back at Emma, who stirred slightly in her sleep. "Leave us alone." The queen's gaze softened. "Your daughter is special." Lisa's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" "She hears the song," the queen said. "The one that sings through the roots of this world, through the bones of the stars. She heard it even before she landed here. She hums it in her sleep." Lisa remembered Emma's soft humming late at night, a tune with no words, just a rising and falling melody that seemed to calm even the wild creatures nearby. "She's just a child," Lisa whispered. "She is a bridge," the queen said, "between your people and ours, between silence and song." Lisa lowered her rifle slightly but did not relax. "What do you want? To protect her?" The queen said, "To teach her to listen fully, to guide her as she grows. And if I say no?" The queen's expression did not change, but the air around them grew heavier. "Then she will still hear the song, but without guidance it may break her mind. Or worse, she may call something older than us, something that does not sing but screams." Lisa's chest tightened. She looked at Emma again, the little girl now sitting up, blinking sleep from her eyes. "Mommy." Emma called softly, her voice small against the vast, alien night. Lisa moved quickly, scooping Emma into her arms and holding her close. Emma buried her face in Lisa's shoulder, but her eyes remained fixed on the queen, wide and curious. Not afraid. You cannot hide her forever. The Queen said. The song grows louder each day. Lisa swallowed hard. What if I stay with her? The Queen studied her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. You may, but I guard her, Lisa said firmly. Always. Of course, the Queen said. But no, your protection alone is not enough. She needs more than bullets and blankets. She needs to understand what she is. Lisa looked down at Emma, who reached out a small hand toward the Queen, not in fear but in wonder. They won't hurt you, baby, Lisa whispered more to herself than to Emma. The Queen extended her own hand palm up, a gesture of peace. Come, she said softly. Not as prisoners, but as guests, as family. Lisa hesitated, the weight of every fear, every loss, every sleepless night pressing down on her shoulders, but then she felt Emma's small fingers tighten around her shirt and heard the faint hum begin again, low and steady, like a heartbeat from another world. She took a deep breath and nodded. The Queen smiled, a true smile that lit up the mist around them, and turned to lead the way into the city. As they walked, the rain stopped completely. The clouds parted, and the twin moons of Zira cast silver light over the glowing towers that spiraled toward the sky. Emma pointed at the lights, whispering, "Pretty." Lisa held her close and followed the Queen through the arching gates of the city, her rifle still slung over her shoulder, but her heart lighter than it had been in months. Inside the city, the air was warm and filled with the soft music she had heard from afar, but now it felt different, not alien but familiar, as if it had always been part of her, just waiting to be remembered. The Zirians they passed did not stare. They simply nodded or offered small gestures of welcome. Some held glowing orbs that pulsed in time with Emma's humming. They arrived at a chamber high in the central spire, its walls made of living crystal that shifted colors with every breath. The Queen gestured to a soft nest of woven vines in the center. This will be your home for now. Lisa set Emma down, and the girl immediately went to touch the wall, the crystal glowing brighter under her small hand. She already understands, the Queen said, watching with quiet eye while Lisa sat beside Emma, her eyes never leaving her daughter. I still don't trust you. You do not need to, the Queen replied. Trust will come with time. What matters is that you are here and she is safe. Lisa looked at the Queen, then at the city beyond, the window lights dancing like fireflies in the night. Why us, she asked. Why not someone else? Because she chose you, the Queen said simply. Long before the crash, long before your ship left your world, she called to you in your dreams, did she not? Lisa froze. She remembered the dreams, vivid and strange, filled with music and light. She had dismissed them as stress, as loneliness. But now they made sense. You were always meant to be her mother. The you, Queen said, not by chance but by song. Lisa reached out and took Emma's hand, the humming growing stronger between them. A thread of sound connecting past, present, and future. The Queen stepped back, bowing slightly. Rest now, tomorrow the lessons begin. As the Queen left, Lisa lay down beside Emma, wrapping her arms around her daughter, the city's music wrapping around them like a blanket. For the first time in months, Lisa did not feel like a refugee or a soldier. She felt like a mother, in a place that might one day feel like home. And deep in the heart of the city, the song grew louder, not in warning but in welcome. Lisa closed her eyes and listened. Weeks passed, and the city of Zira bloomed like never before. The towers glowed with steady golden light. The gardens grew taller and brighter, and the air hummed with a harmony so deep it seemed to heal the very ground beneath their feet. Lisa walked the spiral paths each morning, not as a stranger but as someone the city recognized. Emma ran ahead, her laughter ringing like a bell, as Zirian children chased her through fields of singing flowers, their long limbs graceful, their eyes full of joy. Lisa no longer carried a weapon. She wore simple woven robes the color of dawn, and her hands were calloused from helping rebuild the outer conduits where silence had once crept in. She still watched Emma closely, but not with fear anymore, with pride. Queen Lyra often joined them in the gardens, sometimes speaking, sometimes just sitting in quiet company. One morning, she handed Lisa a small crystal pendant, warm to the touch. This will help you hear more clearly. The queen said. Lisa turned it over. In her palm, I still only catch fragments. That is enough. The queen replied, You do not need to hear the whole song to protect its voice. Emma skipped over holding a basket woven from light. Mommy, come, the elders want to show me. The sky roots. Lisa smiled and followed. The sky roots were ancient vines that stretched from the highest spire into the clouds, feeding on starlight and carrying the song beyond the planet's edge. They pulsed with soft silver energy and responded. To touch, Emma placed her hand on one and it glowed brighter. Wrapping gently around her wrist like a bracelet, an elder. Zirian bowed. She is learning faster than any before her. Lisa watched her daughter stand tall, eyes closed, humming softly, as the root pulsed in time with her breath. But peace never lasts. One evening, as the twin stars set, a sharp dissonance cut through the city's song like a knife through silk. Lisa felt it in her bones, a cold wrongness that made her skin crawl. Emma gasped and dropped to her knees, hands over her ears. It's back, she whispered, louder this time. Queen Lyra appeared instantly, her face grim. The screamers have found a crack in the shield. Where? Lisa asked, already moving toward their chamber, the eastern ridge. The queen said, Where your ship first crashed. Lisa's blood ran cold. That place was still raw with human fear and metal and death. The perfect wound for silence to enter. We have to go, Emma said, standing, shakily. I can close it. It's too dangerous, Lisa said. If I don't, the silence will spread everywhere. Emma looked at her mother, eyes wide but steady. Even to Earth. Lisa swallowed hard, then nodded. They traveled at night on gliding, platforms that floated on sound waves, the city's song pushing them forward. The closer they got to the ridge, the colder the air became, the music fading to a whisper at the crash site. The ground was blackened, the moss dead, the metal wreckage twisted and silent. Emma walked forward alone, her bare feet stepping over broken glass and rusted steel. Then from the shadows, figures emerged, not Zirian humans, 3 of them ragged and wild-eyed, their faces gaunt, their clothes torn. They held crude weapons, made from ship parts. One pointed a jagged pipe at Emma. Stay back, he growled. Lisa stepped in front of Emma. James, she said, recognizing the man from the colony ship. What are you doing? We heard the music. James said, his voice shaking. It's messing with our heads. We're getting out of here. You can't. Emma said, stepping around Lisa. The silence is using you. James laughed bitterly. Silence, silence. We've been silent for months. No rescue, no help, just this damn singing in our skulls. Queen Lyra appeared behind them. They are not lying. The song is painful to those who refuse to listen. Lisa looked at James and the others. They were not evil, just broken, scared, and angry. Emma can help, Lisa said. But you have to let her. James hesitated, then shook his head. No tricks. Emma walked toward them slowly and began to hum. Not the full song, just a single soft note, pure and calm. James flinched, then stilled, his eyes widening as the pain in his head eased. The others dropped their weapons, clutching their temples as the dissonance faded. What is this? One woman whispered. It's okay, Emma said. You don't have to be afraid anymore. But then the ground trembled. Deep guttural roar echoed from the canyon below. Not sound, but anti-sound, a vibration that made the air crackle and the stars dim. The screamers had arrived. Black shapes rose from the fissure, their forms shifting like smoke with too many eyes and mouths that opened into endless voids. They moved toward the humans, drawn to their fear. Run, Lisa shouted, but Emma stood her ground. No, she said, they're scared too. She closed her eyes and sang not a hum this time, but a full, clear note that rang across the ridge. The screamers froze, then shrieked in pain as the song struck them like light through darkness. Lisa grabbed James and the others. Get behind her. Queen Lyra raised her hands and the ridge itself began to glow. Ancient Zirian runes flaring to life in the stone. Emma's voice grew stronger, weaving the song into a shield of sound that pushed the screamers back toward the fissure. Now, the queen cried. Emma took a deep breath and hit a note so high and pure it shattered the air. The fissure sealed with a flash of white light. The screamers vanished and silence returned. But not the empty kind. This silence was full of peace. James fell to his knees. tears streaming down his face. "I hear it," he whispered. "I finally hear it." Lisa pulled Emma into her arms, the girl trembling with exhaustion. Queen Lyra placed a hand on Emma's head. "You saved them and us, back in the city." The humans were given shelter not as prisoners, but as guests. The song now clear in their minds, they began to heal. Days later, Lisa stood with Emma on the highest balcony watching the twin stars rise. "Do you think Earth will hear it someday?" Emma asked. "Maybe," Lisa said. "But even if they don't, we'll keep singing for them." Emma leaned against her. "I'm glad you stayed, Mommy." Lisa kissed the top of her head. "I wouldn't be anywhere else." Queen Lyra joined them, holding 2 cups of starroot tea. The elders wished to name her. She said, "Name her," Lisa asked in our tongue. The queen said, "It means little singer of 2 worlds." Emma smiled. "I like that." Lisa looked at her daughter, then at the glowing city below the towers, alive with music, the gardens blooming, with color, the people walking in peace. She had come here running from death. Now she stood in the heart of life, and for the first time she felt not like a survivor but like a beginning. The wind carried Emma's soft hum into the stars, and Lisa closed her eyes and listened. The days grew longer and warmer in Zira, and with them came a new rhythm, one that blended human breath with alien song. Lisa no longer counted the weeks by the fading charge in old tech or the dwindling rations, but by the blooming of sky lilies and the rising of the twin stars. She walked the upper gardens each dawn, not to scout for danger, but to watch Emma teach the Zirian children how to shape sound into shapes that floated like soap bubbles filled with light. Emma had grown taller in the months since the ridge. The golden light from the heart chamber still shimmered faintly in her eyes, and when she spoke, even the wind seemed to pause to listen. The Zirians treated her not as a guest, but as a guide, a bridge between what was and what could be. Queen Lyra often sat with Lisa on the sun-warmed stone benches, watching Emma lead a circle of young ones in a soft chant, their voices weaving together like threads of silk. "She is changing them," the queen said one morning. "Her voice low, or they're changing her," Lisa replied. "Both." The queen smiled. "That is the way of true connection." Lisa sipped her tea. The starroot now a familiar comfort, its warmth spreading through her chest like a second heartbeat. She could hear more now, not the full song, but enough to feel its shape, its mood, its need. One afternoon a message came, not in words, but in a ripple through the city's crystal network. A deep tremor in the song that made Emma stop mid-hum and turn toward the western gate. "Someone is coming," she said. Lisa stood instantly, her old instincts flaring, but Queen Lyra placed a calming hand on her arm. "Not enemies." They walked to the gate, where a small group of Zirians waited, their postures tense but not hostile. Beyond the shimmering barrier of the city's edge stood a ship unlike any Lisa had seen before. Sleek and silver, it hovered without sound, its surface reflecting the sky like a mirror. The ramp lowered and a single figure stepped, Hatumana, a woman tall and lean with short dark hair and eyes that scanned the city with awe. Not fear, she wore a patched flight suit with faded letters on the shoulder. Lisa squinted, then gasped. "Kara." The woman turned and her eyes locked onto Lisa's face, disbelief then joy flooding her features. "Lisa." They ran toward each other, meeting at the edge of the barrier, tears streaming down their faces. "We thought you were dead," Kara said, her voice breaking. "The rescue ship found the wreckage, but no bodies, no signals, nothing. We crashed off course," Lisa said, "and then everything changed." Queen Lyra stepped forward. "Welcome, Kara of Earth." Kara blinked. "You know my name," Emma told us. The queen said. Emma ran up and hugged Kara's legs. "You came back." Kara knelt. "I never stopped looking." Back in the city, Kara sat in the central chamber, wrapped in a warm robe, sipping starroot tea. Her eyes wide as Emma showed her how to make a flower bloom, with a single note. "This is real," Kara whispered. "Not some dream." "It's real," Lisa said, "and it's fragile." Kara looked at her. "Earth is worse. Lisa, cities are falling, the oceans are rising, people are turning on each other over scraps. We need hope, not just rescue." Lisa glanced at Emma, who was now teaching Kara how to hum the basic thread of the song. "Maybe we can give them more than hope," Lisa said. Queen Lyra entered the room, her expression thoughtful. The song has been waiting for a voice that can cross the void. Kara frowned. You want Emma to go back to Earth? Not alone, the Queen said. But if she sings there even a little, the silence may loosen its grip. Lisa's chest tightened. It's too dangerous. Staying is more dangerous, Kara said softly. If Earth falls completely, the darkness will spread beyond your world. It always does. Emma looked up. I want to go. Lisa knelt beside her. Baby, you don't know what it's like there now. But I can help, Emma said. I can teach them to listen like you taught me to be brave. Lisa looked into her daughter's eyes and saw not a child, but a light steady and sure. That night, the elders gathered in the heart chamber, the crystal pillar glowing softly as Emma stood before them. We will prepare a vessel, Queen Lyra said. One that carries the song within its walls. Kara nodded. I can pilot it. And I go with them, Lisa said. The Queen did not argue. You are her anchor. Preparations took days. The Xerians wove the ship's hull with living crystal embedded with threads of the original song. Emma spent hours humming into its core until it pulsed with gentle light. The morning of departure, the whole city gathered at the launch spire. Emma wore a robe of woven starlight, her hair braided with glowing vines. Lisa held her hand tightly. Kara stood by the ramp. Ready? Emma turned to Queen Lyra. Thank you for teaching me, the Queen bowed. You taught us how to hope again. Lisa hugged her one last time. Stay close to me. Always, Emma whispered. They boarded the ship, its interior warm and alive, the walls breathing softly with each note. Emma hummed as the vessel rose. The city below sang a farewell so powerful it lifted them into the sky without engines. Just sound and light. Earth came into view. Not as Lisa remembered it, green and blue, but gray and scarred clouds of smoke curling over broken cities, the oceans, dark with waste. Kara's hands tightened on the controls. It's worse than I thought. Emma placed a small hand on the viewing pane. They're still there. Who? Lisa asked. The ones who listen. Emma said, even if they don't know it yet. They landed near the ruins of what was once a coastal city, the air thick with dust and silence. Kara led them through collapsed streets to a hidden settlement beneath an old subway station. Faces appeared in the shadows, wary and thin, but when Emma stepped forward and hummed a single clear note, they froze. A young boy stepped out. What was that? It's a song, Emma said. For you. She sang softly, the melody simple and warm, and one by one the people lowered their weapons, their eyes filling with something they had forgotten. Tears. Lisa watched from the back, her heart aching with pride and fear. That night, in a room lit by flickering bulbs, Emma sat with a circle of children, teaching them to hum the first thread of the song. Kara stood guard at the entrance, her rifle ready, but her posture softer. Lisa joined her. You think it will work? I don't know, Kara said, but for the first time in years I feel like breathing again. Inside, Emma's voice rose clear and strong, weaving through the broken walls and out into the ruined city beyond. Somewhere in the distance a bird answered. Then another, and far above the clouds, the stars began to shine through. Lisa leaned against the wall and closed her eyes. She could hear it now, not just Emma's voice, but the faint echo of Zira's song reaching across the void. And for the first time since the crash, she believed Earth could heal, not with weapons or walls, but with a song. She took a deep breath and listened. The settlement beneath the old subway station grew quieter each night, not from fear, but from peace. The children hummed as they slept. The adults spoke in softer tones, and even the wind through the broken streets seemed gentler. Emma moved among them not as a stranger, but as a quiet force, her presence alone calming the sharpest edges of despair. Lisa watched her from doorways and corners, always close, always ready, but no longer tense. The song had taken root here, small but steady. Like the first green shoot after a long winter, Kara organized patrols not to fight but to listen for others who might still be out there lost in the silence. She taught them to carry small crystals the Xerians had given her that glowed faintly when near. Someone opened a sound one morning. A runner returned, breathless. There's a group near the river. They're sick. They won't talk. Emma stood without hesitation. We have to go. Lisa grabbed her coat. Then we go together. They traveled. Through the ruins, the sky above still heavy with ash but lighter than before. The river was black and sluggish, but along its banks a cluster of tents huddled under torn tarps. People lay listless, their skin gray. Their eyes dull. Emma walked straight to the center of the camp and sat cross-legged on the cracked concrete. She closed her eyes and began to hum. First, nothing happened. Then a woman stirred her head, turning toward the sound. A child whimpered, then quieted as the note wrapped around them like a blanket. Lisa knelt beside a man coughing weakly. "Drink this," she said, offering water mixed with crushed star root. The queen had sent. He sipped and his breathing slowed by dusk. The whole camp was listening. Kara returned with more supplies and more crystals. "They're calling it the listening sickness," she told Lisa. "People who stop hearing anything but their own fear. The song can heal that." Emma said softly. Word spread faster than anyone expected. Within weeks, small groups arrived at the settlement, not with weapons but with questions, with hope. They brought their own songs. Old lullabies, forgotten hymns, street chants from before the fall, and Emma wove them into the greater melody. Lisa stood on a broken overpass one evening, watching the settlement below, lights flickering not from fire but from the soft glow of singing crystals. Children played a game where they matched notes with birds that had returned to the city. Kara joined her. "We've got contact from 3 other zones. They want to learn. Then we teach them," Lisa said. "It's not just about teaching," Kara said. "It's about trust, and that's harder." Lisa knew she was right. The next challenge came not from sickness but from power. A convoy of armored vehicles rolled into the outer ruins, their engines roaring like beasts. They flew no flag but their leader. A man with a scarred face and cold eyes demanded to see the one who made the noise. Lisa met him at the edge of the settlement. "You're not welcome here. I heard you've got something that makes people obey," he said. "I want it." "It doesn't work that way," Lisa said. "Everything works my way," he snapped. Emma stepped forward. "You're hurting." The man froze. "What?" "Your heart is loud with pain," Emma said. "That's why you can't hear the song," he laughed. But it was shaky. "Shut up, kid." Emma didn't flinch. She began to hum the same note she used at the ridge, soft but unbreakable. The man's hand twitched toward his weapon, but he didn't draw it. His eyes flickered with something like memory. "My daughter used to hum like that," he whispered. Lisa saw her chance. "She's gone." "Yeah," he said, voice rough. "And I've been angry ever since." Emma stopped humming and held out her hand. "You don't have to be." The man stared at her, then at his own trembling fingers. He turned and walked back to his vehicle without another word. As convoy left before dawn, Kara exhaled. "That was too close. He'll be back," Lisa said. "But next time he'll listen." Weeks turned into months. The song spread not by force but by invitation. Emma traveled with small groups to nearby zones, teaching not just the melody but the silence between notes, the space where healing happened. Lisa always walked beside her, sometimes carrying supplies, sometimes just her presence, a shield of Calmon day. They reached a high mountain camp where the air was clean and the stars visible at night. An old woman waited for them at the gate, her hair white, her eyes sharp. "I've been waiting for you, child," she said. Emma smiled. "You heard me. I've been listening my whole life." The woman said, "But I never knew what I was hearing until now." She led them to a cave filled with ancient instruments. Drums, flutes, bones carved with symbols. "My people used to sing to the sky," she said. "Before the wars, before the silence." Emma ran her fingers over a flute and played a single note. The cave filled with echoes that sounded like voices returning. The old woman wept in the journey back. Lisa asked Emma, "Do you ever get tired?" "Sometimes," Emma said. "But the song carries me." Lisa looked at her daughter's face, so young but so sure, and felt a swell of love so deep it hurt. That night, under a sky full of stars, Emma sat on a hill outside the settlement and sang, not for healing, not for teaching, but for joy. The notes rose into the air and the stars seemed to pulse in answer. Lisa sat beside her. "Do you miss Zira?" "A little," Emma said, "but home is where the song is." Lisa wrapped an arm around her. And where you are. Back in the settlement, Kara showed them a map marked with glowing points. Everywhere you've been, the silence is retreating. It's not me. Emma said. It's everyone who chooses to listen. Lisa knew the truth, though. Emma was the spark. But the fire belonged to all. Of the morning, a signal came not through radio but through the crystals, a deep familiar hum that made Emma sit up in bed. Queen Lyra. She whispered. They gathered in the central chamber as the hum grew stronger. Then a voice clear and warm filled the air. The screamers have returned. Lisa's blood ran cold. Where? Not here. The queen said, on a world beyond yours they have found a new wound. A planet of warriors who silenced their own song long ago. Kara frowned. Why? Tell us. Because the song needs more voices. The queen said, and your world is no longer the only one that listens. Emma looked at Lisa. We have to go. Lisa didn't argue. She knew this moment would come. The song was never meant to stay in one place. They prepared quickly. Kara would stay to guard the growing light on Earth while Lisa and Emma would travel with the Xerian vessel to the new world as they boarded the ship. The settlement gathered to see them off, not with tears, but with song, a chorus of human voices rising into the sky. Emma stood at the ramp and sang back a single note of promise. The ship lifted on waves of sound, not leaving but connecting in the cockpit. Lisa held Emma's hand as the stars stretched into rivers of light. Are you scared? Lisa asked. No, Emma said. The song is with us. And as the new world came into view, dark and wounded but not yet lost, Lisa felt it too. A thread of music weaving through the void, binding all who dared. To listen, she closed her eyes and listened. The morning light in Zira did not come from a single sun, but from twin stars that rose in slow harmony, painting the sky in soft gold and violet hues. Lisa woke before Emma, her body stiff from sleeping on the woven vines, but her mind clearer than it had been in months. She sat up, slowly scanning the chamber walls. The living crystal now pulsing a gentle blue, as if breathing with the city itself. Outside the open archway, the towers of Zira hummed with quiet energy, their surfaces shimmering, like water touched by wind. Emma stirred beside her, mumbling something in her sleep. Her small fingers curled around a glowing pebble the queen had left on the floor the night before. Lisa picked it up. It was warm and smooth and seemed to vibrate, faintly against her palm like a heartbeat wrapped in stone. She did not trust it, but she did not throw it away either. A soft chime echoed from the corridor, and Queen Lyra appeared in the archway, her silver hair braided with strands of living light. She carried no weapon, no guards, only a bowl of steaming liquid that smelled like honey and rain breakfast. The queen said, placing it gently on the floor, "It will help her hear clearly today." Lisa eyed the bowl. "What is it?" "Starroot. Tea," the queen replied. "Safe for humans, it opens the mind to the song without fear." Lisa hesitated, then nodded. Emma was already sitting up, her eyes wide with curiosity. Not hunger but wonder. The queen knelt beside Emma and offered the bowl. The girl took it without hesitation and sipped slowly, a soft hum rising from her throat almost instantly. The crystal walls brightened. Responding to the sound, Lisa watched her daughter closely, every instinct telling her to intervene. But Emma looked calm, even happy for the first time since the crash. "Today she will meet the chorus," the queen said, standing again. "They are the keepers of the song, the oldest among us. They will test her, not to judge but to understand." "Test her how?" Lisa asked, her voice tight by listening. The queen said simply, "They will sing and she will answer if she is ready." Lisa stood. "I go with her." "Of course," the queen said, "but you must remain silent during the trial words from—" "You may drown her voice?" Lisa nodded, though her stomach twisted with worry. After Emma finished the tea, they walked through the spiraling corridors of the spire, the city unfolding around them like a living dream. Xerians moved gracefully past some, pausing to bow, others offering small glowing flowers that bloomed only when Emma looked at them. They reached a wide circular chamber, open to the sky, its floor made of polished black stone that reflected the stars. Even in daylight, in the center sat 7 Xerians, their skin pale as moonlight. Their eyes closed, their hands resting on large crystalline instruments that hummed without being touched. These were the chorus. Queen Lyra led them to the edge of the circle, then stepped back. "Wait, here," she whispered to Lisa. Lisa knelt beside Emma, squeezing her hand once before letting go. Emma walked forward alone, her bare feet silent on the stone. The moment she stepped into the center, the chorus began to sing. It was not music, as humans knew it. There were no notes, no rhythm, only a deep, resonant vibration that seemed to come from the earth itself. The air thickened, the light bent, and Lisa felt her bones tremble with the force of it. Emma did not flinch. She closed her eyes and began to hum the same tune she always hummed, but louder, stronger, clearer. Each note she made caused the crystals around the chamber to glow brighter, until the whole room pulsed with soft white light. One of the chorus opened their eyes and spoke, not in words but in feeling. A question formed in Lisa's mind, as if whispered directly into her thoughts. "Who are you?" Chilled Emma stopped humming and opened her eyes. "I am Emma," she said, her voice small but steady. "And I hear you." The chorus fell, silent for a long moment, then all seven stood as one and bowed deeply. Queen Lyra's breath caught. She answered. Lisa stood frozen, her heart pounding, not with fear but with awe. The eldest of the chorus stepped forward and placed a hand on Emma's head, a soft golden light spreading from their palm down Emma's body until she shimmered like the queen herself. "She is marked," the elder said, their voice like wind through ancient trees. "The song has chosen her as its voice among the star walkers." Lisa rushed forward, pulling Emma into her arms. "What does that mean?" The queen placed a gentle hand on Lisa's shoulder. "It means she is not just human anymore, she is part of something older than both our kinds." Emma looked up at her mother, her eyes brighter than before. "It's okay, Mommy," she said. "They're not scary, they're sad." "Sad?" Lisa asked. "They've been waiting a long time," Emma whispered. "For someone who could hear them." Lisa held her tighter. After the trial, the queen led them to a garden high above the city, where vines grew in spirals and flowers bloomed in colors Lisa had no name for. They sat on a bench of warm stone, and the queen spoke plainly. "The song is dying," she said. "Not because it is weak, but because no one listens. Your world stopped hearing long ago. Ours is forgetting, even we who were born to it." "Why?" Lisa asked. "Because silence spreads," the queen said. "When one species turns away from the stars, the darkness grows, and the old things begin to wake, the screamers, the ones I warned you of. They feed on silence." Lisa looked at Emma, who was playing with a floating petal that followed her finger like a loyal pet. "So she's supposed to fix it. Not alone," the queen said. "But she is the first in many cycles to hear both the song and the silence and understand the difference." Lisa sighed. "I just wanted to keep her safe." "You still can," the queen said. "But safety is not hiding. It is teaching her to stand in the light without fear." Emma ran back to them, holding the petal in her palm. "Can we stay?" she asked, looking at Lisa with wide, hopeful eyes. Lisa looked at the queen, then at the city below, the towers glowing with life, the air filled with music that no longer felt foreign. "Yes," she said softly, "we can stay." That evening, Lisa stood on the balcony watching Emma sleep inside the chamber, the girl's chest rising and falling in time with the city's hum. Queen Lyra joined her, leaning against the railing, her gaze fixed on the twin stars. "You were right to be afraid," the queen said. "But you were braver than you knew." Lisa did not answer for a long time, then she spoke. "What happens now?" "Now she learns," the queen said. "And you learn with her." "I don't hear the song," Lisa said. "Not yet," the queen replied. "But you hear her, and that is enough for now." Inside, Emma turned in her sleep and began to hum again the same melody, but this time it carried a new note, one of hope. Lisa closed her eyes and listened. The next morning the training began. Emma sat cross-legged in the garden, surrounded by 3 young Xerians who taught her to shape sound with her hands to make the air ripple with intention. Lisa watched from a distance, her rifle still within reach but no longer in her hand. Queen Lyra approached, holding 2 cups of starroot tea. "You should try it," she said. Lisa took the cup but did not drink. Will it make me hear the song? Not the whole song, the Queen said, but it may help you hear her better. Lisa sipped the warm liquid. It tasted like sunlight and quiet forests, and for the first time she felt a faint vibration in her chest, not loud, not clear, but there. She looked at Emma, who was laughing as a Xerian child shaped a bubble of sound around her head. She's happy, Lisa said. She is home. The Queen replied. Days turned into weeks. Lisa learned the rhythms of the city when the markets opened, when the sky gardens bloomed, when the stars aligned to sing their nightly hymn. She traded her plasma rifle for tools, helping repair the crystal conduits that carried the song through the towers. She still slept with a knife under her pillow, but she no longer checked the perimeter every hour. One evening, as she walked with Emma through the lower gardens, the girl stopped and pointed to a dark patch of ground where the moss had turned gray and brittle. It's quiet here, Emma said. Lisa knelt beside her. What do you mean? The song isn't here, Emma whispered. It's scared. Queen Lyra appeared behind them, her expression grave. The silence is spreading faster than we thought. Lisa stood. What can we do? Emma must go to the heart chamber, the Queen said, deep beneath the city where the first note was sung. If she sings there, the song may push back the silence. Is it safe? Lisa asked. Nothing is safe anymore, the Queen said. But it is necessary. Emma took Lisa's hand. I'm not afraid. Lisa looked at her daughter, then at the Queen, and nodded. That night they descended into the depths of Zyra through tunnels lined with ancient carvings of stars and singers, the air growing colder, the light dimmer, until they reached a vast cavern where a single crystal pillar rose from the floor to the ceiling, pulsing with a weak red light. This is the heart, the Queen said. Sing, Emma, sing with all you are. Emma stepped forward and closed her eyes. She began to hum at first. Nothing happened. Then the pillar flickered, then glowed, then erupted in a wave of golden light that shot up through the city, shaking the towers and filling the sky with a sound so pure it brought tears to Lisa's eyes. The gray moss outside turned green again. The stars above burned brighter, and for the first time in centuries the screamers fell silent. Queen Lyra fell to her knees. It is done. Lisa pulled Emma into her arms, the girl exhausted but smiling. You did it, baby, Lisa whispered. Emma leaned against her. We did it, Mommy. Above them the city sang a song of gratitude and hope, and Lisa finally understood she was not just a guard anymore. She was part of the song too. She closed her eyes and listened.